Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the show. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Had a little bit of a mishap tonight, not gonna lie. I'm just gonna tell you how DOT got me to run in a violation tonight. Why that happened, and well, I found a little honey hole that I didn't even know about. So maybe I'll give you my little secrets, and maybe it'll help you out if you're ever up here in the Northeast. This is why I don't run in the Northeast, is because there's literally no parking up here for trucks. I've not been up here in, God, guys, I don't know, 4 or 5 years now, something like that. So I'm not real familiar with the area, not gonna lie. But let me tell you how I started my day, leading up to the events of an officer knocking on my door. Cool guy, we'll get to that point. So I spent the weekend, I did a reset in Lebanon, Tennessee, at the Pilot down there at exit 238, I believe. Got there Friday night. Wasn't able to make it home, and you know, that kind of sucks. I didn't get to see my little girl. She's a little over a month old now. Y'all will get to meet her, don't worry. Wasn't able to see the wife. Wasn't able to see my other kids either. And you know, I don't like to work weekends. I like to spend my time with my family. You know, I'm usually only off for 34 hours anyways, and I like to spend that time with them. Or, you know, doing repairs on the truck, or, you know, I got a honey-do list every weekend when I go home, trust me. I just can't keep up. So anyways, I got up probably, let's see, 5:30, 6 o'clock this morning. My time, Eastern Standard Time. So, no, wait, I'm telling you wrong. I got up 6:30 my time, 5:30 their time. Started heading towards Delmar, crap, I do this all the time, Delmar, Delaware. So I started heading that way. From there, it's about a 12-hour drive. So 756 miles, I believe it was. So here I am. I'm trucking right along. Contact my wife, you know, when I got to Knoxville, Tennessee. Got me a little bit of fuel there at the Pilot off of 374. That's the almost like the cheapest place for me to get fuel, anyways, with our discount back here with Mercer. And so I got there this morning about 9 o'clock. Got my fuel. Headed on toward the house. Like I said, I stayed out over the weekend. I'm shooting right by the house. I live off of 81. Not too far from the racetrack, if you ever been to Bristol, Tennessee. So, you know, shooting up 81, called my wife. I said, hey babe, bring me some clothes out here to the truck, out here to the TA, you know, bring me some clothes, some food. She's a real big supporter of me and my trucking career. She's, you know, she's my rock. She holds, she holds the house down when I'm not there, and you know, that's good. You gotta have a good, strong woman to stand behind you. Otherwise, man, it's hard to make it without her. So I met her, got there probably about 10:30ish. Met up with her, got some food. She ran me to the Dollar General. I needed some cutlery, fork, spoons, all that good stuff. I ran out. She brought me some clothes, all that good stuff, you know. Hung out with her, you know, for about 30 minutes, 45 minutes. then I headed on up this way. I already knew when I left there, like, I'm not going to make it all the way. But I'm still going to, go as far as I can. Again, I'm not familiar with the Northeast at all. I don't run up here much. And there's a reason. I mean, guys, I've been cut off, honked at, flipped off, everything but chewed on and spit on today. So anyways, we're trucking right along. We get up into Virginia, get close to, I think it's Bay Bridge, off of Highway 50. Hours before I got there, I'm looking for truck parking. Hours, and nothing near where I'm going. So I'm like, okay, we got shut down early. Well, the closest place is like 3 hours away from where I'm delivering. And I'm like, well, that sucks, I like to get a little closer. I got a little bit of a jump tomorrow to pick a load up. So I'm like, hey, I got a 3-hour jump tomorrow to pick my load up. I don't want to be 3 hours away from where I'm going. That's 3 hours in the morning and then 3 hours to get the next load. That's 6 hours out of my day gone already. So I'm going to get, 5 hours down the road with that load that's going down to Charlotte in Georgia. I was like, man, I ain't going to get nowhere tomorrow. So I just go. I go as far as I can. I find the rest area at Manassas, Virginia. I believe it's the last rest area on 66 in Virginia. I believe. Again, I don't know this area. And I pull in there. They only got parking for about, I don't know, maybe 9 trucks. When I pull in, I'm coming down through the get-off ramp. And I already see trucks are parked on, on both sides of the road. So they're over here, they're even over here. And I'm like, well, this ain't looking too promising, guys. So, I ease on in there, get on in the rest area, because, sometimes they'll line up out, on the ramp, and they're still parking in the rest area. I see it all the time. So I go on in there, ease on in, and I'm like, well, alright, ain't no parking in here really. I get to the end, and on the get-off ramp, they got no parking signs. Okay, so I'm like, alright, I can't park there. Anybody who drives a truck or anybody who doesn't know, Virginia is a don't park on the exit ramp kind of state. Some states allow it, some states don't. Some companies allow it, some companies don't. My company's never said you can't. They never said you could. I guess until it becomes an issue or a problem, I guess we can. I ain't been told either way. And I've done it. It's a last resort for me, but I've done it. I don't like truck stops, and I don't like exit ramps. I usually stay where I'm going for picking up. That's what I prefer. That way I'm always ready to go. That's important. Always be ready to go. So anyways, I parked there at the very end. There's no parking signs. There's already a truck there, and I pull in front of him and back in, and we're fine. Everything's going good. I wanted to organize my truck, clean it up a little bit. As you can tell, I got interrupted. So here I am, midways through cleaning the inside of my truck, because I want to give y'all a tour of my home away from home at some point or another. I don't see a lot of interior of W9s, and I kind of want to show you how I got mine and how it's laid out. It's pretty basic, but hey, it is what it is. Still want to show it. So I'm sitting here cleaning things up. I get a little peck on my door. I go up there, roll my window down, here it is, a Virginia DOT officer standing there, at my step. So, I roll my window down. I cut the truck off. Guys, cut your truck off if there's an officer at your door. I mean, a little bit of respect goes a long way. Wouldn't you agree? So here we are. I'm talking to him. I'm like, hey, officer. I said, I'm assuming you're going to tell me I can't park here. And he was like, no, sir, you can't. And I said, well, he said, you out of hours? And I said, well, officer, I got an hour and a half left. There really ain't much parking up here. I thought I was okay here. He said, well, you're not. I need you to move. And I asked him. I said, well, am I in trouble? You gonna issue a ticket, warning, or anything like that? And he said, no, man. I understand completely. I get it. Up here sucks. We don't have much parking. I completely understand. So I asked him, I said, well, officer, I only got an hour and a half left. My destination is 3 hours away. I could probably park there, but I can't make it there, and I can't legally drive my truck there. You have any suggestions of maybe somewhere where it'd be okay for me to crash for the night? I'm not one of these drivers that trash a place, throw my trash out in the parking lot or anything like that. And he said, yeah, go one exit down, get off exit 52, and hang a right, and then go down there about a mile and a half. There's a red light there, hang a left, and there's a Trader Joe's there, I believe. You can park there. They're getting ready to close, that nobody will bother you, and you'll be okay. And I was like, well, I appreciate that, officer. And I thanked him and, told him to be careful out here. They got pretty, they got a job and it's a little risky, just like ours. They lay their life out on the line every day. And I do appreciate what they do for us, for the most part. I mean, you could have wrote me a ticket. That would have went well, went really well with my company. And I don't want that on my record, my license, or anything like that. It's a pretty clean record for the most part. So I take his advice and I go to Trader Joe. Get in there, guys. Don't go there. At least not around Christmas time, because the parking lot was full. Nowhere's to park. And so I was like, well, maybe I could sneak around back. A lot of businesses, they have a little back entrance for trucks to unload and so forth. Well, that didn't work. When I tried to get around back, they actually have like an apartment, and they park on the curb there. Well, some trucks could make it through there. I'm a little bigger than most. I wasn't able to make it through there. There was a man that had just parked his car right on the corner and was walking into his business or his building, and I had to stop him and ask him to back his car up a couple feet to let me clear it. Cleared that, left, and just decided, hey, I'm just going to keep running the direction of my delivery until I find somewhere to park. And I'm just going to stop, everywhere along the way that I can find, because I don't know what else to do other than that. I mean, I have to park this thing somewhere, right, guys? So I go to Bay Bridge right there. I thought maybe I could park there. There's a way station there. No, there was 2 officers in there. They said permitted loads only, so that wasn't an option either. Now at that point, I probably had maybe about 25-30 minutes left on my drive time. If y'all ain't aware, we're only allowed to drive 11 hours a day, and then we have to bed down for 10 hours and then we're allowed 70 hours in a week, and then we got to take 34 hours consecutive off. So pull out of there, get back up on the main road. Never been across Bay Bridge. Went across it at night, hoping tomorrow I get to go across it during the daytime. It might be pretty. Who knows? It looked like it'd be pretty. So I keep heading in my direction, and I find on my GPS it listed a 7-Eleven that had truck parking. So I pulled off, made me a little emergency stop there, pulled my phone out, Googled the address, Google mapped it, satellite view, see what I'm getting myself into before I get there, understand? But honestly, when you're up here, that's the best thing to do, is try to, plan your route before you go. You want to know how you're going to get into places and out of places. It's important. I look at it and I'm like, man, it don't look like it got parking, but maybe. And I go there. I got almost enough time to get there. And I'm running, I'm going. Well, I get there and they don't really have truck parking here, but I walked inside and I asked the guy that was working, I said, hey man, I drive a truck. Everywhere I seem to try to park up here, I get ran off by an officer. Is it okay if I park here? Y'all, they have diesel for big trucks. And they had a little box truck parked over there by the diesel pumps. So I was like, shoot, I think I'll be okay. And I asked him. He said, yeah. I noticed where I parked, though, I was going to be blocking the diesel island. So, or not the diesel island, but where like the tankers come in and they offload the fuel for the service station. I was kind of parked right on top of that. So I was like, man, that's not gonna work. And they, you kind of gotta hang to the right to swing around the building to get to the diesel island. Anyway, so I was kind of blocking all that. So I decided, let's move to the left. But they said I could stay here, so we're gonna crash here for the night. We'll get up in the morning. We're about an hour 20 minutes away from our delivery. Like I said, we're going down to Delmar, Delaware. And all I can say is thank God for this 7-Eleven, because they really saved my butt. If y'all are ever up here in the Northeast, they're off of Grange Hall Road, Queenstown, Maryland. They're kind of like right there where Highway 213 and 50 intersect. You're coming down 50, you hang a left on 213, make your first right on the first street you come to, and they're right there on the right. You really can't miss them. You could probably park about 3 trucks here around the building, up against the curb, and they let me do it. Not gonna promise they'll let you, but they let me. But that was my little experience today, my little bit of excitement. Y'all be safe out there. Y'all remember, God loves you, God bless you, and I'll catch you on the flip side. I think I'm going to show y'all how I parked out here, just to give y'all an idea how to be courteous to others. And when people let you park at places like this, don't trash the place. Let me just give you a quick little clip of where I parked outside, and we're done with this one. Y'all be safe. I'll catch you on the flip. Alright guys, see, I originally came in through here and I pulled over here and I was parked right along this curb, but you can't really see them, but see that little hump, that's where they put the fuel in. Wasn't that good of an idea. I moved over here up against the building. I'm not blocking anything. You can still swing around to make that curve to get to the diesel island. And guys, if you're gonna park, just don't try to block anything, and you should be fine. Y'all have a good one. I'll catch you on the flip. Be safe out there.